Last last weekend was really a remarkable weekend, very deep, profound, and to me, the joy of watching people and myself just changing in front of me is something miraculous. And I mean, again, I can't travel the way I used to, so I will be holding retreats every 2 months. If you want to come, the next one is in October. There's already, I think, there's room for just 4 people. Everybody else has signed up. And if you want to come, let me know. It's just an amazing weekend. It's a weekend of very deep inner work, transformation, change. And I feel like it's a miracle that I can even do this kind of stuff. I mean, it's a testament to this meditation that when you do it in the kind of depth, that you just get younger inside. I don't know how that works, but it really does. You get younger. The body gets older and there's all these physical stuff you got to deal with, but the internal spirit, the energy, the Shakti in a human being really gets younger. It goes in reverse. There's more wisdom, there's more energy, there's more knowledge, there's more of everything that really makes life worthwhile. And the most important thing of all is sharing it, giving it away to people who truly make the effort to come to receive it. So if you want to attend, there's going to be one in October. Again, there's only room for 4 more people. There's another one in December, and there probably will be one every 2 months. I will do. And I feel grateful to God that I will have the strength to do this kind of thing because it's really something very important. So God bless you all. We'll have a class. After the class is over, if there are any questions, I'll be happy to try and answer them. Does anyone have a question? Questions are good. Silence is very good. Feeling connected deep inside yourself with a higher force, the best. Does anyone have a question? Come on, inspire me.
Hi, Stuart. It's Leisha.
Leslie.
I'm not sure of the question, but I'd love if you could speak again and more about the worthiness of love, of how how we know that we're worthy of love, of higher energy.
Mm. It's it's different than how do you know? It's different than the mind finding out and kind of understanding. As I've explained before, it's just kind of an organic evolving into a state of being, in yourself through the development of an inner life, the chakra system that enables you to receive Shakti, higher energy. And the system inside evolves to a place where, there's love, where there's trust, where there's forgiveness, where you can live that way without having to analyze it and figure it out. The wonderful thing about this meditation that I always loved from the first day I met my teacher, it's not about understanding, it's about becoming. It's about evolving and growing organically inside yourself. And that process takes place inside, which enables you to just be. You are strong enough inside yourself to love unconditionally. You're strong enough inside yourself to forgive all the things that are done to you, to the world. You can let go of these things. So it's not a matter of understanding or even knowing when. It's like I've said a million times, enlightened people don't know they're enlightened. They just live that way. They don't walk around telling everybody they're enlightened, but they live that way. And it's the same thing with love. It just is. Just is. The heart stays open. You're centered inside. There's balance inside. The mind is quiet. And one evolves to a state of being where there's love. And I don't know how else to put it. It's not like, I can put on a blackboard, here are the steps, A, B, C, D. It doesn't work that way. I mean, for me, it worked through years of doing deep inner practice that reconditioned my system inside, to be able to open and to stay open and to have an open heart and to truly understand, or not even understand, but just to be capable of loving, not having to doubt myself, understanding how important it is to have self-worth and being able to live that way. It's a matter of, there's no describing this, it just happens. It happens to you. And it's not that it's like some flash of lightning that hits you in the crown chakra and suddenly you're enlightened. No, it is an evolution, an evolvement inside oneself of internal growth that eventually brings you to a place where you are living what you just asked me. And, this is a hard thing for people to understand, mostly because we're taught from the earliest periods of our lives that we have to understand everything. And eventually you get to the place where you don't understand anything. Your life is a living expression of spiritual energy, of God flowing through you. You are open enough to live that way. But you've got to build that kind of system inside that enables you to live that way. Because your understanding of it and my understanding of it, and anybody sitting in this class's understanding, it's going to be completely different. it's, as I've said often, it's one of the reasons I have so many classes. I understand, frankly, from years of doing this, how much time it takes to evolve and grow in oneself, to where one can just be in the world unconditionally. Your life is a life of just a creative flow of energy with total trust, you know, and the strength to be able to do it. So, there's,
Stuart,
yes.
is it possible that we are worthy and loved, but we're not in the right frequency to understand it completely? But it's there.
I know you don't,
Worthiness,
it's what,
love.
Galit, it's what I just said. You'll never understand it. I mean, unconditional love is a pure state of being. Unconditional love, comes to a human being because they have built a system inside themselves that is connected to God, higher energy. And there's no understanding that, but it can be done through, it's like an artist who creates a great canvas. And he looks at the canvas and doesn't even know that he created it, just flowed through him. It became.
Yes, but I mean that from the very beginning, we are worthy and loved. Worthy and loved. But we can't feel it because we're not in the right frequency, because we're in our suffering.
Well, but the whole purpose of doing this meditation is to get into the frequency. Build a system that enables you to truly open and stay open inside so that that flow of energy can move through you. And you just organically become worthy of it through your actions, the way you live, how you live, compassion. You build a system inside that enables you to get into that frequency. If you
Yes.
think if you think about it, you will never get into that frequency.
Yes, but I think that from the beginning, we are already worthy and loved. No matter if we have the system and no matter if we have compassion, we're in a journey here, and it's a very hard journey, and we're very brave to do it. And I think that we're already loved and worthy, no matter what.
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, look, children are born totally innocent, full of love. You can't walk past them without wanting to pick them up and hug them. There's so much juice that comes through the love. And yes, you're right.
And so adults, not only children, I think that everybody is like that, no matter what his journey here. And
well, I wouldn't say everybody is like there are people that that I would say that yes, everybody has life, everybody has the potential to become that way. Everybody needs to learn how to do it inside themselves. Everybody is born here to learn how to love unconditionally. Some people learn it in one lifetime. Some people it takes hundreds of lifetimes before they truly learn it. Everybody comes here. Every soul is born here to learn how to evolve into a state of oneness with God, a state of pure love. I agree with that. That's why it's so important to forgive people when they do things you don't like, because they too were born here
Yes.
Learn how to love unconditionally. But this is a very difficult thing to do. And it's difficult to do, not because it's not there, it's because people have to learn how to do it. But I agree with you. In God's love, everybody is a product of higher energy and the love of God. But then you have levels of consciousness that people live on, the work they do, the anger, the upset, the terror that exists in them, the hatred that exists in them. Now, they can get over that if they're willing to work on themselves. I mean, some of the greatest saints in the history of the world were murderers when they were young. They got over it. But they have to learn how. I mean, the best example I know of is Milarepa, the Tibetan poet saint who, he was a black magician when he was younger. And then he said, no, I don't want to live. I have a more important calling than this. And I have to find a teacher who can train me how to get free of myself. And he found this teacher, Marpa, who was one of the greatest Mahasiddhas in Tibetan Indian law. And he studied for 13 years with this teacher to the point where there was no ego left in Milarepa. He was sitting there listening to God speak. But he had to learn how to do it. And the wonderment of all this is that it's in every human being. It's absolutely in every human being. And that's why forgiveness is so important. Non-judgment is so important. Letting life be is so important. Every human being is a child of God. But people need to learn how to work on themselves, to connect that child of God inside them with that higher energy. So they become a vehicle through which that energy flows consciously. When people come to study with me, I never ask them where they come from, what their childhood, what they do for a living. I'm absolutely not interested. The only thing I'm interested in is that they're willing to work on themselves now, because everything else will change. But they have to be willing to do the work on themselves in this moment. And that's a really hard thing for people to commit to, unless they have a need to be spiritually enlightened. Then they will do it. They will do the work on themselves now. Whether it's with me or somebody else, they will find a path to God if that need is real inside them. Then there's reincarnation. They come back until they finally tap that need. That will bring them and connect them with a higher energy in the universe. And then they will do the work they have to do every day to continue that growth process.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Continue working. You do very well, Louise. You really have a very deep need for spiritual life. It's extraordinary. Keep looking. Does anyone else have a question? Okay, if there are no more questions, there will be a class on Thursday. God bless you all. Also on Friday, they're going to post another one of my Tantra things. And this one is really interesting. Also, the painting is one of the most amazing paintings I've ever seen in my life. You should go there. Forget about Stuart. To see this painting is extraordinary. Extraordinary thing by a German Renaissance artist named Adolfer. Really remarkable. So, I mean, if you have time, I suggest reading. This one is interesting. And God bless you all. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for being in these classes. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on Thursday. God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome.
Thank you.